Welcome back, everybody, to FYC Deep Cuts. I'm your host, Gagne, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, the Null Dog. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It is swell. I'm just full with love because we are talking about what today?
Rom-coms, better known
Rom-coms.
as romantic comedies. Not just romantic movies, but romantic comedies. So we're gonna stay away from movies like The Notebook because I don't know
Forever.
forever. Although it's not a bad movie. It's just we're staying away from the Notebook. So
This
yeah,
is not your
rom-com.
grandma's notebook.
No, it's not. It's not. Anyways, romantic comedies. I like them. I do. And I feel like the older that I get, I appreciate these movies more.
I agree. I think it's a genre that, people don't typically list as their top. I love, these specific movies, maybe some, but
Yeah.
in kind of just looking back on certain films, like I had to almost like kind of ask, like, what would you define as a rom-com? And I was getting really like messed up with, like, something like Bull Durham. Is it a baseball movie or is it a rom-com? So it's both, right? Like,
I think it's both. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Baseball movie is not necessarily a genre. Rom-com is a genre. So yeah, there's a lot more than I realized that I like. Typically I feel like they get bad raps because it's like, oh, I'm being dragged to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I don't know. I'm throwing out one that I haven't seen and I didn't
Uh,
really
that
want.
was okay. That wasn't that
Yeah,
bad. Yeah.
but it's one of those things where, like, I'm actually impressed. Like, I had a hard time trying to narrow it down to like what I think my top ones are. But
Okay.
let's dive in. Let's throw one out that you got on your list.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of stick within the baseball realm and say Fever Pitch.
Okay,
I would consider Fever Pitch a romantic comedy because it really
100%.
is. It's 100% romantic comedy. So that's one of my favorite rom-coms. Fever Pitch,
Okay,
really great movie.
that's a bold statement. I honestly, I don't think I've seen that movie since it came out in theaters. So we may have to
You're
cover that at
missing
some
out,
time.
man. That is a really good movie.
I do remember it being really good, and
Hmm.
I want to hold on to that morsel and hope that it's still really good. So
But see, but if we get talk about movies like that, then you kind of have to talk about, okay, Something About Mary. Do you consider that just a comedy or a romantic comedy?
I'd consider a romantic comedy.
Right.
Honestly, I mean,
Me too.
the whole premise of the story is he's in love with Mary from Jump Street.
Exactly.
So how is it not? I think some of those, you're right, like they teeter more one way or
Hmm.
the other, but for all intents and purposes, that is just as much as a rom-com as something like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is one of my favorites.
Same here. Yeah,
It's from start to finish about romance, about breakups and getting together with someone new, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I agree. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is up there. I would say top five romantic comedies for me is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That is a
Yep.
great movie that every time I watch it, I never get bored. I laugh. I still laugh. So it still works for me. And Jason
Yeah.
Segal, he can't do no wrong.
Yeah, he's great.
I might just put Jason Segal on Mount Rushmore. I love that guy. I really do.
I agree with you, but I think
I
it's a little
really
too
like him.
soon. Right?
Oh,
It's
too soon?
a
Okay, maybe
little
it's
too
too
soon.
soon. Okay, all
However,
right.
it's
I'll
not
turn
too
it down.
soon to put up our good buddy John Cusack, who, say anything, for
Ah,
me is still one of my favorites. It's might be a little dated now. It's 80s, but it's it's John Cusack, man. It's the boombox over the head. It's Peter
yeah.
Gabriel. It's John Cusack. I could just keep saying that name alone, and I love it. So,
Yeah, I mean, stick with John Cusack. High Fidelity. Is that a
ooh,
romantic comedy? That's a romantic comedy, I would think. I mean, it's
it's got
about
to
his
be, right?
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about revisiting his old relationships and what he did wrong and trying to find himself within those relationships. So, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I feel bad for not mentioning that on my list. I don't know where I left it off because it's probably in my top like
Yeah.
25 movies of all time. I love
But
that one.
but
So
see, that's the thing. There's a lot of good ones that are defined as romantic comedies that I don't know. I mean they borderline, but they're romantic comedies. And there's a lot of good romantic comedies that I would put up there, at least in my top 10, top 20 movies of all time, because they're just really good and they work. Another one that I really like is Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire is fantastic.
it's a good one.
It's a
Uh,
great movie.
I don't know why, but Renee Zellweger just bugs
Doesn't
me.
do it. She
Just
doesn't do it for you.
it she's bearable in Me, Myself, and Irene, but other movies I just like I didn't like her in Chicago, and she was I think nominated for an Oscar for I don't know why what it is about her. It just I've never cared for her as an actress.
It's subtle though in Jerry Maguire, I think.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, you're right. It's more about Tom Cruise in that movie than
Yeah.
anything else. And so, but yeah, it's funny. I looking at again, just trying to dive through lists of like romantic comedies. Like you make sure you're not missing stuff. There were things that I almost didn't really consider romantic comedies, like The Princess Bride. Um,
That I would consider that a romantic comedy.
Sure. But I didn't initially, in my head, it's like I saw this as a kid. It's kind of
Yeah,
a fantasy movie because there's swords and magic but you're right. I mean, the grandpa's literally reading him a romance novel.
that's
Like
right.
it's,
Yeah.
it,
Buttercup.
yeah,
I would put, yeah, that's a romantic comedy,
yeah,
hands down. So if anybody has a problem with that, let us know. Princess Bride is a romantic comedy. Another one I got on here was, and we could probably put a lot of his movies in here, was The Wedding Singer. A lot
yeah.
of Adam Sandler movies are romantic comedies, and I think all his romantic comedies that are not on Netflix, right? Anything that's not on Netflix,
Adam Sandler.
yeah, old Adam Sandler. It's good, man. It's fantastic. I love the Adam Sandler movies, The Wedding Singer, 50 First Dates, Blended.
Never saw that one.
It's great.
Hmm.
Click. They're all really good
Click
movies.
was pretty good.
Click. Fun fact. I don't think we do fun facts here on DC,
We do
but
now.
Click made me cry, man. I cried in
Really?
Click. It was that good. It was really good.
Okay. I can accept that. I'm with you on the Adam Sandler front. I think some of the other ones I think I fell off, but I mean, Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates are so classic. Like there's so much good in them. Big Daddy, like that. There's another
Yeah.
one. Those absolutely are romantic comedies, and he did them very very well for a big chunk of time.
Yeah. So all the Adam Sandler movies that are not off the wall, but
Yeah.
the romantic ones, they're romantic comedies and they work. And I really don't have any gripe about any of those movies. So way to go, Adam Sandler.
I got a gripe about one that's behind you. And I don't know what it is, minority here opinion, because I don't love When Harry Met Sally. And that one is
Okay.
like on everybody's list and top of the list, like usually, in the top five. I looked at a lot of different lists and they list this one. And I don't know, maybe because I didn't see it until later. I wasn't old enough to, see it when it came out. Maybe it's Billy
Sure.
Crystal. I like Billy Crystal. I don't love Billy Crystal. I have a hard time believing him as this romantic lead with Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan,
Yeah,
right?
Meg
Yeah,
Ryan.
like
Yeah.
it just didn't work for me. I love Carrie Fisher in the movie, but like it didn't save the movie for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw the movie. I saw the movie like for the first time about 6 years ago. So I'm with you on that aspect where I didn't watch it till much later. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I didn't think it was great, like how everybody puts it on this pedestal. I probably have to rewatch it again. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I like Billy Crystal, but like you said, it's hard picturing Billy Crystal as like this lead romantic actor.
Mhm.
So I agree with that. Another one that I did enjoy though was it You Got Mail? No,
Yeah.
Sleepless in
Wait.
Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Sleepless in
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, You Got Mail. It was like the same thing, I think. But
But it was
Sleepless in Seattle was all
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Tom Hanks can't go wrong. Like except
No.
if you watch You've Got Mail. That was like, hey, we had, you know, magic twice before. Let's do it a third time. Joe versus Volcano is way better than You've Got Mail.
Joe versus
Yeah.
the volcano. Great knowledge.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Yeah.
So do your rom-coms need to have happy endings?
No.
Like, okay. So Crazy Stupid Love was on many of these lists too, but like that's
Yep.
one where I feel like at the end, it's not necessarily the like wrapped in a bow perfect ending.
Sure.
And I just, sometimes people like they need that Hollywood ending, but to make it a really good rom-com.
I don't know. I don't think they need to be happy endings in these romantic comedies, because sometimes you need that sadness. Sometimes you need that melancholy feeling. Sometimes you need that, okay, it didn't work out, but maybe things will get better. I think you need the sadness.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I'll list off things like 500 Days of Summer to people as, one of my favorites. And they're like, yeah, but they don't end up together at the end. And I'm like, that's how life is sometimes though. Like, and it doesn't make this any less of a good story. It doesn't make it any, less romantic or less funny. It's just, they didn't end up together. Not everybody does. And
Not
so,
everybody does.
yeah,
Yeah. Just like the breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer
Mhm.
Aniston, right? Spoilers. Sorry, people. They don't end up
They
together.
break
It's
up.
called break up for a reason. They break up and you think they get together, but they end up together, but they don't. So
I had no
sorry.
idea what to expect when going into that movie.
Yeah, neither did I. I was pretty good. I
It
enjoyed
was
it.
pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
good.
all right.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm going to throw out a newer one because I really enjoyed it, and I think it needs to be seen a little bit more. So I don't know if you watched The Big Sick. It was an Amazon, like straight to Amazon. It might have gone in theaters too, but with Kumail Nanjiani, I'm going to butcher his last name, and I'm sorry, but he was on Silicon Valley on
yeah,
HBO for a long
he's
time.
great. He's
He
fantastic.
wrote this with his wife, his real wife, and she didn't play herself in the movie, but it was all about the story of how they met and
Hmm.
him being a comic, and them just being from two different backgrounds, and then her really getting like them getting close, and then her getting really sick, and him like being there for her all through it around her family, and they weren't
Yeah,
really like it. Just such a good movie. I laughed so hard in that movie, and I thought it was so touching. And
really.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic, newer edition, because there's plenty of classics, but I can't think of ones like recently that I've been like, oh, I love this and I'll watch this again.
Yeah, that's true. No, I haven't checked it out, but I do like that actor. He's great. He's pretty
Hmm.
funny. Another one that I like that I don't know if many people will put this up there, but it was Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Mm,
That's a good
good
one.
one.
That's a really good one. I
Underrated.
love
Yeah.
very underrated, and I love the music, and I love the music in that's like very indie underground music, and the just the setting. How about it? They're trying to find this band late at night and their adventures and how it's great. So Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Michael Cera and Kat
Kat
Dennings,
Dennings. Yeah.
Dennings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
I got a fun fact, since we're doing fun facts on deep
Are we
cuts now.
doing fun facts on
Yeah,
deep cuts?
we
Okay,
are. So
go
through
for
this
it.
all this list, and I brought this up specifically because we just talked about Clueless, and that is number 5 on Rolling Stone's top romantic comedies of all time, which
I have a
we at
problem.
FYC, exactly. Thank you. Go ahead,
I have a problem with
please.
that. It's not a romantic comedy. I think that's a teenage comedy.
Hmm?
It's not a romantic comedy. Did you say it was on Rolling Stone's
Top
top
5.
top 5 of all time? I don't know, man. I have an issue with that. I don't think that's a romantic comedy. No, no way.
I can't get on board with it. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously romance at the end, where they all of a sudden get together, which, spoilers, like we had issues with because she's underage. It just,
Okay.
yeah, it's not. And I was like scrolling through their list and like thinking like, oh, it's probably going to be a really good list. And then I got there and I was like, wait, what? I got to bring this up.
Yeah.
I
Wow,
got an issue.
that's I don't know. That's not a romantic comedy.
We're
I think
disappointed in you.
Yeah, Rolling Stones got that one wrong. Okay, and kind of the last one that I got on here was Pretty Woman. Is that a romantic comedy?
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Can't go wrong with Pretty Woman.
yeah, that's a classic. I'm also in the Julia Roberts no fan camp.
Move this man!
Why?
I,
What's
I
wrong with
don't
you?
it's nothing with her. I just don't, sometimes there's just actresses on that I just don't really care for
Are you
their look.
serious?
I'm serious.
You get mad at me for not liking Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, but you're saying you don't even like Julia Roberts as an actress?
I'm saying I don't tend to like her movies. I don't like, none of her movies are ever like up there for me on any list. Like
Wow.
I don't care
Okay.
for her movies very much.
All
It's not that
right.
I don't think she's a bad actress. I just like her body of work doesn't do it for me.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman's good. Yeah.
She was Tinkerbell in Hook.
Okay. But the title was Hook, not Tinkerbell. When is it? When we talk about Peter Pan, everyone talks about Peter Pan and Hook. They don't talk about Tinkerbell.
Okay.
Robin Williams was Peter Pan.
Yeah, Robin Williams. We got to do a Robin Williams movie soon. Anyways, romantic comedies. I love them. I think a lot of people like romantic comedies, and I like the fact that romance can also have comedy interjected, because let's face it, a lot of these romantic comedy movies, they're geared towards women, right? But I think especially nowadays, they're done really well, that they appeal to both sexes. I mean, I love a good romantic comedy. I really do. So maybe because I'm getting older and I can appreciate these movies. So yay for romantic comedies.
We've softened in our old age. Yes, I'm with you. Like The Proposal, like Sandy Bullock, love her, love her. She nothing but good things to say about her. That's why we're on first name basis like that. And
Yeah, you
The
and
Proposal is
Sandy.
fantastic. I mean, her and Ryan Reynolds and the premise behind it, it's absolutely hilarious. And that's probably in my top 5 for romantic comedies too.
That's a good one. Cool. See, FYC, we like a good romantic comedy, everybody.
We do. We don't get dragged to them. We go willingly. And
Yeah.
sometimes there's tears.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So what? Yeah.
Yeah,
They're manly
it's fine.
tears. Manly tears. Let's wrap it up.
Emotional. It's time to wrap it up. All right. Before we start crying on camera. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know what you think your favorite rom-com is, or what you know your favorite rom-com is, and let us know what you thought of our choices. Until next time, I've been your host, Gagne. With me, as always, my partner in crime, Naldog.
See you guys later.
Until next time.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.